Well, hello and welcome to Bobo Bun. I'm Lisa, a vintage inspired dressmaker and dressmaking teacher. Today I'm going to be chatting about something totally different to what I thought I would be sharing with you today, and I'm going to talk about sewing for your head, to make you happy, to calm you, to soothe you, to put aside thoughts you don't like, the whole well-being of sewing, because yeah, I really found that out yesterday, how necessary it was in this blouse that I've nearly finished. So that's what I'm going to chat with you about today. I don't have any answers, it's just from my perspective and talking through some of the things I love and what I am going to be doing with my sewing. Quite appropriately, I'm wearing a t-shirt. It was one of the designs by a friend of mine, Morwenna Farrell. Her name's Mo, but Morwenna Farrell Illustrations, and she illustrates all the designs and screen prints them on t-shirts and repurposed clothing, bags, all sorts of things. She's really, really talented, and she plays the guitar in a fabulous band of hers. So yeah, all round very talented lady. And we've got quite a few of her t-shirts. My younger daughter has them as well, and then I change them, I shorten them, and I shorten them for both of us, and I bring them in. I did do a tutorial on my Instagram on how to do it. I think it's still there actually, on how to alter a t-shirt and bring the sleeves up from big ones, from an oversized t-shirt. But I shall stand up because the sentiments on the blouse or the t-shirt are quite apt for me at the moment. So it says glazed and confused. I'm wearing it with my heart pocket denim skirt, which I think I showed you probably last time. I think it was last time I was here. So that's what I'm wearing, a really comfy, happy inducing, summing up my mood kind of t-shirt. I did say on my Instagram about this, so I think I'll fill you in as well what's going on with my head, because we all have life going on, don't we? I'm a very, very strong person. I've had a lot of big challenges thrown at me in my life, and I refuse to lay on the floor and give up. I'm a warrior, I keep going. It doesn't mean that I'm not hurting inside, I'm struggling. Only once in my life, in my sort of mid to late 20s, I found it very hard and couldn't foresee the next day, and the point of going on, but I went straight to the doctor for help and support. Since then, I have refused to let myself ever get into that place, so I do my best. I found lots of things that helped me. Used to be candlelit baths that really soothed and relaxed my busy, racing mind. And as I understand myself more and with ADHD, the way that my brain patterns and the way I perceive the world and I respond to it and people, it helps me no end understand where I'm going. But in the main, I'm just a very down-to-earth person who keeps going. And like a lot of us, I don't realise that I should put what I want to do first. Well, I do realise, but I struggle to make it happen. I do all the things that need doing, work being my priority, family and friends being my other priority, and family and friends need me more than work has to kind of be fitted around it so that I still make deadlines. So those people become my priority, and any time that I want for me is what's left, if there's any time left. And that's not a good priority, is it really? So at the moment, my mum, who's 81, who normally lives a very independent life, she's not an elderly person by any means. The hospital staff don't even believe she's the age she is, and the way she looks and acts and dresses. With her ear pierced up here, which they thought was a hearing aid, and they realised it sparkled. But for the last month she's been in hospital, so I've been visiting her either every day or every other day, which is really time consuming but needed for her morale, and I just normally see her about once a week, so that's like a big time commitment. I'm really sad seeing her hospitalised because her blood pressure's so bad that she cannot do anything but lay. She cannot function at all. And she's waiting on operation, which was cancelled yesterday. So at the moment, we don't even know what's happening. I'll find out later on today. And amidst all that, my eldest daughter relationship, which she thought was going somewhere, and for no real reasons. He wanted a break and now he's not talking to her at all, and so I'm dealing with her heartbreak, you know. It's terrible to watch and not really be able to do anything about it, rather than just make sure she's fed and looked after. But it's very, very painful to watch. So I've got, you know, those two really needing me, and obviously my younger daughter needs me, but not as much in the same way. And my love, yeah, he's strong. So we're trying to support each other through this. So that's everything that's going on. But yesterday, with my mum's operation being cancelled, and Rosie then phoned me in tears about various things while she was at work, and I was going to work for the day, and I couldn't concentrate. I was going to be filming for my Patreon, because I've taken the month off from teaching real life classes to focus on my creativity and having some time out. But the rest of life happens, so best laid plans and all that. And yesterday I was going to be filming and getting a lot of my September content ready for Patreon, and there's just no way I could concentrate or feel creative, enthused, inspired. My head was all over the place. A very old friend phoned me. I arranged to see her next week, and it was just so lovely. She phoned in the middle. It was really lovely having a laugh and a chat about different things. Another friend, you know, I've had some lovely messages from people on Instagram which I must reply to, and some old friends sending me messages and chatting, and another one talked about you know, pooing your pants and things, which really made me giggle. So yeah, you know, people try to cheer you up, and they're there for you too, and yeah, there's some good people out there. But like I say, I couldn't do my creative stuff that I wanted to be doing. So in the end, I phoned up my mum, and because I thought I can't go and see her, I can't do the happy needed, and she was quite happy for me not to visit her. We spoke, and then I felt like I could relax into having a few hours, and I thought, I need to sew. It's the only thing that's going to soothe me, just doing something with my hands, repetitive, tying my brain up, solving the problems. So I made a toile of this blouse, and I did the tweaks to it, and I was really happy with the blouse. Now, I must go back a bit. Miss Arietta, she's the most lovely lady in Greece. She's a jazz singer. I will link to her, and makes beautiful vintage clothes. She'd made a blouse from a pattern that she'd received from the Vintage Sewing Pattern Company, and it was just glorious. And she'd said to me that, Arietta said to me that, I'll show you the pattern in a moment, it can poof out the back and use like fabric, and I knew I wanted to use, this is a vintage silk, it's either 40s, late 40s or 50s, and it's stunning, and this teal, I think with pink it's going to look gorgeous. And she said it can poof out the back, use a light fabric, which I knew I was going to be. And I went to buy the pattern, and I thought it was a 36, which is what I would need for up here, and then I would have, you know, I'd alter it slightly for the waist and the hips. So I got that pattern, and it wasn't the right one. I found then a very similar one that was the size I wanted on the same site, which I ordered. So in the original, if I turn this around, it might help. In the one that Arietta had, the yoke comes up from the shoulders all the way around. The one I've got, the sleeve comes up here, and the yoke is this part. That's the only real difference to the pattern, and hers had really short sleeves, and this has got long sleeves, or these just above the elbow sleeves. But I can obviously change the sleeve to be short if I want to. I just thought I'd go with this, and it will have a button on here. But it's this Reva collar. I absolutely love a Reva collar. So my toile works. I was really happy with that. I cut this out, and my youngest daughter got in from work. She's back from uni but working, and she got in from work, and she was so hungry that she just got on and put the meal on. I thought, great, more sewing time. So I was able to sew and did a bit more after we ate as well. So do you know what? It soothed me no end. It calmed me. I just felt like the world is in order, and I just didn't think about all of the other things. It's just the most marvellous thing. I made time for me. It was so, so important. I also cut something else out. I mean, normally I'd say when you're in that place, don't do something tricky, but you know, or something you've not done before. But because I'd toiled this blouse and I knew I was really happy with the fit, then you know, I knew I'd safely sew it without too much thought. The only thing I wasn't happy with the fit is how the yoke comes. This back bit's meant to have 2 lots of pleats either side of this centre back seam. I've taken them out now because when they're there, it makes this whole back curve out, a bit like you've got a shell on your back. It's really not an attractive feature. So I've taken it out and I'm just going to bring this centre back seam in, but obviously having to bring it up to where the yoke is because I need that wide. But I'm going to just take all of that extra out at the back to get rid of the poof. But I just absolutely love this one, and I'm using, I'll take this off here. My friend Kat gave me, can you see? Oh gosh, it's really hard to hold a button. See that button? Yeah, these are mother of pearl buttons that were taken off a Pearly King's coat. She gave me a whole bag load. I had given some of the buttons to people in my sewing classes, but I think this will be the first time I'm using them for me. Now the other thing I cut out was the dress I was wearing last week with the pink with the bow tie, you know, and the bust darts coming out from the centre. So I've got this other vintage floral here. If I double it, you might see the print better. I've cut that out and I'm going to put little cap sleeves on this one. And you know, quite an easy skirt. I've decided I'm going to do an A-line skirt with a ruffle at the bottom. I don't want a tiered skirt, or I'm going to have like an A-line skirt or a box pleat skirt. I haven't decided yet which type of skirt, but I want this to feel more just like daytime easy dress. So I cut that out to have something else just simple, even though I've got other projects on the go. I've got dresses I'm finishing up for my Patreon and whatnot, but it really helped me. Now, to get back to this blouse, even though I bought the pattern, I think it was a cheat of mine just to try the pattern that I could just print and download. I have got lots of similar patterns. I've got this one here, Butterick, and I think I started drafting this, but it's just this Reva collar. I always love this Reva collar. I've got this one, which is rather falling to bits at the moment, but can you see that collar, how it's joined at the back? So that's quite unusual, so that's another one to try. And then this one's a favourite of mine, and the one bit that isn't with the pattern is the collar, so I haven't got around to working out how to draft that, but I think this is absolutely splendid. I'm sure I've shown you this before. I adore this blouse, so I must make it at some point. I mean, it's got a huge collar, hasn't it? It's just lovely. So it's the start of my blouses. I'm realising with the weather the way it is, with the inclement weather, shall we say, I just need more separates, more mix and match clothes, because often a frock isn't the right thing, because then these can go with a skirt or trousers or jeans, and I'll wear them in the winter time with knitwear over them. So that's where we're going with that. Now the other things before I go, I want to show you. I've had some really good book finds lately. I found this amazing 1940s complete home and knitting illustrated, and it's just an absolute marvel and a delight, and I love the illustrations throughout it. Let me just find you a page. I think we've got a matronly lady here. They love going on about the matrons, don't they? Which is usually a woman of about 40 with a larger bust. Oh, here she is to illustrate that point. A suit for the matron. But it's got amazing knitting patterns in here. It tells you how to repurpose, remake, you know, deal with the shortages. It says in the front here, in the forward, the phrase well dressed has taken on a new meaning. It means being simply and economically yet charmingly dressed in spite of restrictions. Fortunately, those who know how to make the most of little score heavily over those who never had to worry about money or planning wardrobes carefully. You must think hard before you expend the family's coupons, or you'll find gaps in your wardrobe. Clothes are so expensive, you must make them yourself when you can. So yeah, one of the wartime tips, and it's just, if you ever are lucky enough to get a copy of this and you're a knitter, do. I'll try and show you one of the, rather than the matron's outfits. There's a beautiful jumper in here. I hope I can flick to that page that's got the twist. Here it is. Isn't that a stunning jumper? I know Linda, who's knitting for Victory, she has made it. It's called a twisted yoke jumper, but I've seen that she's made that. It's absolutely beautiful. And yeah, my other winning scores recently have been the Oddham's Encyclopedia of Needlecraft, and I found this lovely lady in her shirtwaister here with a very similar collar to my blouse. My friend Kat's made this dress, which I can imagine she looks really lovely in. And then I've got my Singer sewing book, which again has some great ideas for these blouses. Just looking at this one here down the bottom with the larger collar and a bit of shirring or smocking on it. So these are always my great references. I've got tons of vintage sewing books over there. Much prefer them to the newer ones, even though I did score the Reader's Digest Good Guide to Sewing, which is again a marvellous, I think it was a 1974 first edition I got, so marvellous copy of that one. So yeah, that's me with sewing, and I just thought it's really good actually to say to people this is where my head's at, because your heads are at this at some point. You know, we all have stuff going on, whether you suffer from ill health yourself, you're supporting family that does, you have emotional struggles, or family and loved ones do. We all have times at life when it's less than joyful, we feel like we're being pulled in every direction, and if we can, like I did yesterday, carve out some time for yourself to do the thing you love, whether it be knitting or sewing or just being creative, painting, reading, because my goodness, it's so easy to forget how important it is and how beneficial. And yesterday I really did find it hugely beneficial. I've got this beautiful blouse that will soon be finished and I'll be able to wear. So until I see you again, please comment and share, subscribe if you don't always. I'm normally a bit more like, here it is with what we're doing, but this is the reality dose version, which is just as good. So it's lovely to have you here, and until next time I shall say goodbye for now. Bye bye.